Hello everyone, my name is Adam and I love movies. I grew up in the 80s and 90s and the nostalgia of those times will always stick with me. But sometimes nostalgia can cloud your vision of things. So come with me as I go through the movies I swear all my life I've loved, and let's see if I can still see the magic that I once did. This is Adam's Retro Rewatch. Oh, we're back on now? I mean, it's been a, oh, wait, oh, hi, hi everyone. Still no one there. I don't know who I'm talking to. I'm still all by myself. I'm back. Yeah. Sorry I've been gone so long. The Cinemadness editing system has been, well, let's say a bit uncooperative lately. Things have improved, not 100%, but we're still getting through some hiccups and stuff. But I'm back. I'm making my way back into doing these videos, and I'm glad you're here with me again so you can join me in my journey through cinematic rediscovery. So with all my thanks, welcome back, and this is Innerspace. Innerspace was released in 1987, and it was Joe Dante's next big film after Explorers. We all know, if you watched my video on Explorers, that it didn't do that well as a release. It did better on cable. And kudos to Joe Dante, who doesn't hate the film. He's said that he likes it for what it is. He's happy he got to make it. He's grateful that he got to give Ethan Hawke and River Phoenix their first Hollywood start. But that doesn't matter, because Joe Dante has brought us back to another adventure film with the main character in a small pod flying around things. But this time it's not in space. It is inside a human, a person, using my hands to describe things. Very Jeff Goldblum, who does not appear in this movie. It stars Dennis Quaid, Martin Short, and Meg Ryan as the main cast. Innerspace is an interesting movie. I would call it a 1980s quasi-classic, mainly because it's a movie that you totally forget about until someone's brought it up, and then you're like, oh yeah, that movie was great. It was definitely one I watched a lot as a child. It was produced by Steven Spielberg, and it definitely has that Spielberg glow that films that he usually is involved have. Poltergeist had it, Back to the Future had it. Everything that he's put his money into basically has that Spielberg glow, even though he didn't direct it. Also, he did not direct Poltergeist. That was a stupid rumor, and Tobe Hooper deserves all the credit for that. But anyway, we're on Innerspace.
Stay on target.
As I sort of reimagining, I guess, of the classic science fiction film Fantastic Voyage, Innerspace takes that concept and adds Martin Short as a neurotic character, basically that needs to come out of his shell.
Jack, you're becoming unglued. You're coming apart at the seams, Jack. Oh my God, he's completely spaced out.
And gets him all involved in this espionage and intrigue and on this crazy adventure that would never happen unless he was injected by a scientist that had a small Dennis Quaid inside of him. And that espionage is what gets the microscopic Dennis Quaid injected inside Martin Short. He was supposed to go inside of a test rabbit, but things went awry. Or Ari, if you read it. That's how you say it. That's how you spell awry. The whole movie is about searching for a stolen computer chip that could re-enlarge Dennis Quaid's character, which needs to happen very quickly before he runs out of air. It's also about self-discovery and having the courage and faith in yourself that allows you to be the real you. The visual effects at that time were, and basically still are, really impressive. In fact, fun fact, this is the first and only Joe Dante movie to receive an Oscar, and it was for the effects. Using elaborate sets, prosthetics, and forced perspective gave a hard, gritty realism to this film that was still in the pre-infancy of CGI, 1987. Some CGI was used in movies yet, but wasn't used enough to be in this, I would say, in this age of film. Now, the look and sound of the movie is very close to Explorers. It has that almost, like if there was a filter for Explorers, you could put it over this movie. You can see the lens work and lighting and stuff. It's very, very close to Explorers, and that's kind of a Joe Dante thing. It looks the same in Gremlins and The Howling, and even The Burbs afterwards. Yeah, now that I think of it, it's very Joe Dante has his own look, but it sounds a lot like Explorers. Having Jerry Goldsmith back to do the thing he does with his music for Joe Dante doesn't hurt, but it's the sound. It's got the Explorer cadence, the Explorer cues, very close. I mean, if you could put the two scores together, and make one giant album, and you wouldn't realize you were listening to two different movie scores. Now, the acting in this movie is wonderful. It's basically what shines the most. And the funny thing is, in Joe Dante movies, the acting always outshines the crazy premises that it's involved. Like The Howling is about werewolves, but the acting, which also included Robert Picardo, who's also in this movie, and he was in Explorers, was one of his staples. The acting in The Howling, the acting in Gremlins, the acting in Explorers, The Burbs. It's just, even though Joe Dante takes on these crazy ideas for movies, he grounds them because of the characters and the way the way he gets them to act real in these outlandish situations. Dennis Quaid's Tuck Pendleton, he's a brash, thrill-seeking test pilot / alcoholic, always down on his luck, but ready to take that next adventurous leap. And you're right there with him. He's believable. And Martin Short's Jack Putter, who's the complete opposite. He's a reserved hypochondriac. He's afraid of everything. I'm possessed. And both of them play off each other like a newer odd couple. And they're perfect. They're perfect. They never see each other because Dennis Quaid's character is inside Martin Short's character, so they can't really see each other, but they play off each other perfectly. It's great. It's a good dialogue between each other. Meg Ryan she was 80s, 90s Meg Ryan. The adorable cinematic sweetheart we've all grown to love. And in this movie, she's just as lovely. Like I said, the dialogue is smart, it's funny, it's snappy, it keeps you entertained, and it's very quotable once you remember you've seen the movie. But, and as no one has famously said, the main cast is only as good as the supporting cast. At least I don't think anyone's ever said that. I'm not saying that I coined the term. I just don't think it works. Anyway, it's true in this movie. Henry Gibson, who later plays Dr. Klopek in the Burbs, he plays Jack's boss at Safeway, and he plays him just like Henry Gibson. Kevin McCarthy, as you famously know, was the bad guy in the classic cinematic powerhouse that was UHF.
You wanted to see me, sir?
That's right. I guess you know why I called you in here.
Because you're lonely?
No, you moron.
Plays the antagonist, Scrimshaw, he's evil and eccentric, but he's not over the top unbelievable. He's Joe Dante eccentric. I mean, he's about as believable as a villain in a movie about shrinking people and injecting them into your body can get. And we can't forget Robert Picardo's not Oscar winning, but should have been at least nominated performance as the cowboy. I'm just going to leave it at that. Maybe play a clip.
I'm an old cowhand from the Rio Grande, but my leg's not bold and my fist not thin. I'm a cowboy who's never seen a cow. I can rope a steer cause I don't know how, and I'm not for to start learning how. Yippee-i-oh-hi.
Yeah. That's one of Robert Picardo's best roles until he became, the ship's doctor in Voyager. But the big question lies. I mean, it doesn't lie. It's a question. It can't lie or tell the truth. No, lies isn't lies. It hasn't happened yet. The big question, the infamous inquiry, if you will. Do I still love it? Well, do I? Yes. And that's a big yes. It's a big, big yes. This movie is fun. I mean, what's not to love? You got adventure, you got comedy, you got a totally original take on a idea that's been used before, but it's just great. And you have the cast and crew that makes it all possible. You have the genius of Joe Dante's vision, and you have incredible sketch comedy people like Martin Short and Henry Gibson and Robert Picardo. Dennis Quaid just always gives it his all in every movie he does. And then you have Meg Ryan being Meg Ryan. Quaid's character spends the majority of this picture trying to help out Martin Short's character, but for most of the time it's so he could get out and live his life. It's more of a selfish reason than it is to help a guy that really needs the help. And that's his motivation at first. But then they form a real bond. And they learn from each other, and they grow with each other, and it's just a really cool thing to see. This was also the first VHS that I rented that, before the movie, explained the concept of widescreen. It had a little disclaimer. It says, like, the two bars you see are not cutting off the movie. They're actually compressing it so you can see the sides, but explained why you were seeing a squished picture. And at that point, at 8 years old, I started a hate of the square pan and scan editions of movies that studios would do to release their movies on VHS so they can fit an entire screen. I guess people just need an entire screen, or they don't understand that you're missing sides of the movies. And I would tell them, you're missing sides of the movies. You don't want pan and scan. And if it's a big scene where two people are talking and it's close up, they digitally moved it over. Oh man, once you discover the glory of widescreen in the age of VHS, it's a game changer. And yes, Innerspace was my first step at becoming a film snob. Thanks, Innerspace. Thanks, Joe Dante. So I love this movie. I loved it as a kid, and I think it's just as entertaining today. It's pure Joe Dante. From the Jerry Goldsmith score to even having Dick Miller make a cameo, who's in every single Joe Dante movie ever. If you haven't seen it, or if you've forgotten it, I highly recommend giving yourself a treat and watching this movie. Man, I really enjoyed going back to Innerspace, and I'm happy to be back making these videos. I'm happy you can come with me on these little journeys. Did you like Innerspace? Do you still? What's your favorite part? Let me know in the comments. And remember, if you like hearing me drone on about movies, I have a few other videos in this series, I guess you would call it. Also, if you want to hear me talk even more, you should hear me with my friends as we talk for much longer about much more recent movies on the Cinemadness podcast, wherever most podcasts are streaming. I want to thank you all for your faith and your support in the times that I haven't been making these. Cinemadness has been kind of shying away from video for a while because of the technical issues, but I'm glad you're still here. Glad you're still watching it. We love making this content for you, and we look forward to doing more videos. I look forward to doing more videos like this. We look forward to doing more collaborative videos, more video podcasts, and we're really looking forward to the future. And if you haven't, we'd love if you just subscribe. It shows that we're doing what we're doing, and people give a damn. It's fun. I'd do it anyway. I'd do it for one person, but if you like what you see, might as well subscribe and hit the bell so you know when new things come along, because who knows when the next one will be. Hopefully it'll be soon. Speaking of soon, I wonder what I'm going to watch next.